Ludmila, it's fantastic to meet you. I've been looking through your account, and I have to say, first up, it's great that you're not a gold trader, but you've done an absolutely outstanding performance on trading the NASDAQ. You've been with FTUK since March. This is your second payout on a 100k instant funding account. I think your account is absolutely fascinating. I've got loads and loads of questions that I wanted to ask you. But first up, just give us an idea of your background, where you've come from as a trader.
So I work in financial industry already since 20 years, and I started as an analyst. Actually, I come from Latvia. I was working for a subsidiary of a Swiss asset manager in Latvia as an analyst for US small mid caps, and then I moved to Switzerland on offer for a portfolio management position, and then I developed to be CEO of family office. And so I always was looking over investments, and of course as a trader it's always challenging. You see mistakes maybe that your company does while you are not in a decision maker position, or your decision has to be shared by many committee members, and you see, oh, they do it that way and I know better. If I would be a trader, I would do profits, and then you start your trader journey. And of course I think many first traders with their first trades, they just make losses because you don't calculate your leverage, you don't basically you count only with profits and don't count with risks. After a while I also did CFA. I'm now a CFA charter holder, which also a lot of theory on risk helped a lot. And of course as a trader, I must say now, to be successful, first understand risk and then go for profits.
Well, obviously, like, understanding risk is just so important, particularly if you're dealing in a market such as the NASDAQ, because it's so thin, it's so volatile, it's so difficult, and it has been difficult conditions in markets generally this year, particularly in equity markets. But what? Just give me the reasons why the NASDAQ. I mean, you got the NASDAQ printing all-time highs at the moment, as is the S&P 500. But why that focus on the indices?
Yes, because I just worked more with US markets, and then I myself already personally, not necessarily the company where I work, I saw that, okay, I think passive investments is much less riskier than active, and then the difference in returns if you invest as an asset manager doesn't bring you much difference, but much less risk, much more profits, but much less risk. And I started to look NASDAQ ETF. I actually learned, I got very familiar with the product, actually first through ETF, but then basically ETF is same as index. And that's why I already have a good feeling of it. Of course, you say, to any starter junior trader, I wouldn't say don't go with your feelings, because before you get a feeling you need to really go through a lot of experience. But I can admit that when you trade enough, when you look at the instrument enough, you get a feeling of it, where it can go. Of course, you look at news, at volatility, and okay, you see today is such day, Trump is saying that, for example, and the market is not so confident, so there that could go. But I just, it just came through my experience that I got familiar more with American market.
Yeah, now let's just jump into the account itself. The performance is absolutely remarkable. This is your second payout, and you're nestled under that 20% on the consistency scoring. So clearly that's not been an issue for you. Your hit rate is phenomenal. 93% is your win rate. You're an intraday trader as well. The shortest trade was 20 seconds. The longest you're less than 3 hours. So everything is intraday. $283 is your highest profit, and then your lowest loss is $43.50. 42 trades in total. It really is a very, very tight performance. Just give us an idea of how you are, because you're obviously working at the pointy end of finance as well, and you're busy during the day wrapping this around your full-time job. Just give us an idea of how you're actually working with your analysis in the market on a day-to-day basis and selecting those points in the market to actually make trades.
No, first of all, I did back testing. I had an idea of what I want to trade, and of course Again, as a beginner trader, I didn't do that, but the more you work in finance, you understand you need to test your strategies, and they need to prove on paper before you bring them in live. And yes, I had an idea of a pattern. I backtested that, and for 5 years, because actually I trade, as you said, intraday. So to test intraday is pretty challenging. You don't even get enough of data which give you intraday, like these candles charts. I really struggled to get that, and it's very difficult. A lot of manual job to backtest it. So I did. I have a pattern that if I see it, I trade. And I have, of course, to have my trades profitable, because I know where it needs to hit the profit. Sometimes I close it earlier if my profit target is reached. If it's not, I just put a profit stop, take profit and go drink tea, not to look emotionally on the trades. That's important. Yes, so again, very important is when I defined a pattern which brings profitable trades. Of course, before your profit target is reached, still market can go a little bit against you, sometimes not a little bit. So I exactly backtested 5 years of daily manual job I did. Where can it go the worst against me? And I put a little bit more reserve on that. So my basically, I know when I enter the trade, I cannot lose more. Statistically, I cannot lose more than the set drawdown limits.
Yeah, that's a really, really interesting way of looking at a market like that. How do you go about dealing with markets such as the NASDAQ when they're printing all-time highs? Because so many traders find that a challenge to buy the highs. Or do you just ignore that bigger picture and you just focus completely on the intraday timeframes all the time?
Yes, exactly. What I have learned that it's, of course, when it's all-time high, when it's today all-time high, I would be careful. I would rather enter short position. If pattern indicates maybe long, I wouldn't go that day. But still, what I learned is that markets can always go high, and they can higher, even higher than today, even the most highest, or it can always go lower, even if it's today, one day minus 10%, it can always go lower. So ignore this. What you have is your pattern that works. And sometimes actually where I started with my pattern is that I noticed that you should not be more clever than market. I look where market goes, and if market is positive, be with the market. If market is negative, be with market. That's how I started. And this absolutely, for me, it's absolutely no go to say, oh, now it's all-time high, now I will be the smartest and short the market and I will win. No, there are a lot of guys like that. One, and second, it can always be higher, it can always be lower than anything.
Yeah, very much so. That market can keep going higher, and probably will, certainly in the current dynamics as well. What's the big picture? You've already got a CFA, you're already working in a family office, you're already at the pointy end of finance. Your trading is very patient, it's very deliberate, it's a beautiful performance. What is the vision for what you want to do in terms of your career and what you want to do with your prop trading from here?
Yeah, well, of course, ideally, I have a day job now, like 9 to 6, and of course, I'm in a manager position. That's cool and interesting too. But of course, I'm looking also. I'm now 40 years old. I'm looking when I get older, my pension and so on. And everyone is saying what will be. Nobody knows this pension and so on. So I of course, ideally, FTUK also offers scaling plans. So I hope to scale. I look for more. Basically assets under management that I would get and could get more independent from my job, and also say, okay, in the future, if I do it consistently, I can count on a little bit for my pension, a little bit more return.
And how has your experience been working with FTUK? Have you found that?
Yeah, perfect. I mean, it's very clear, very nice dashboard. Yeah, I have a consistency rule. I read a lot. Some traders complain about consistency rule, which is for me not an issue at all. If your strategy is consistent, I think you just cannot. You have no choice. You will end up hitting the consistency rule. I mean, the only thing is that your payouts at the beginning is just 50%, but it is as it is. But for that, the price is pretty competitive, and to buy an account, and as well the scaling plan is there, and you get a very convenient dashboard. Drawdown limits are very, very realistic. So yeah, I think it's a really fair price and nice.
That scaling plan is definitely there for traders like yourself that want to then move up and trade sort of much larger amounts of capital. Ludmila, I really appreciate your time. I know that you're on your way to work, and it's fantastic to speak to you. The performance is brilliant. The payout will be approved today, and long may it continue for you at FTUK. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. It was a pleasure.